early.
What's good, folks? Appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of Early.
Real early.
Got a special guest back in the house with us.
Friend of the show.
You know? Ish Millie. Welcome back, man. Appreciate you coming back, coming through.
Living, bro?
How are you?
What's cracking, family? I'm good, man. Like we're saying, crypto GM.
GM.
Facts.
Yeah, bro, it's been about 2 years or so, I think since you last joined us, it's gonna be crazy how time flies.
Time be flying, dog. It don't make no
sense.
It's
really crazy, Definitely got, some new people tuned into the channel. Just for a brief refresher, let the people know, just a brief intro, who you are, what you're up to in the world.
For sure, man. I go by Ish Millie, based out of LA and Miami. I'm literally bi-coastal at this point in my life. And I'm an investor.
It's like, who isn't these days? Like, we're living in a time where you gotta be everywhere you can be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's called location freedom. So, thank God for
Facts.
that. But I'm an investor, man. I've been involved in crypto since 2017. Been through the highs and the lows, the bears and the bulls, the feasts and the famines, the wins and the L's. Yeah, I'm also involved in another, maybe not as pronounced asset class, but very similar to crypto, which is domain investing. I'm probably one of the few people that look like us that is fully immersed in that world. So I use, platforms like yours to sort of like, educate people on that and at least spark that plug in their head that, yes, you can also make money from crypto, but you can also make money flipping domain names as well, which is something I do every day.
Yeah, I want to get into we're kind of gonna go everywhere with this, but I definitely want to get into the domains. How did you get there? Let's start there. Like, how did you find out or learn about that being an asset class worth investing in? How did that come about for you?
It's funny you asked that question and that's a good question, because I've always been aware of the value of a good domain. As someone who has a digital marketing background, I think that's like obvious to most people. Whenever you want to start a business or you have an idea, I think most people know that you need a website, right? And you go on GoDaddy or Namecheap or Wix or whatever, and you look for a website. And then, we just assume that most of the websites that we have in our mind are gone and they can never buy them. Or you see a price and you go, this is what they're asking for it. I never was aware of the economic viability of it. So during, I guess, the pandemic was when it really, really hit me.
So like 2020, around that time?
2020 was when I really decided this is what I wanted to double down on. But prior to that, I was already collecting some names and I had received a few offers for them, but I wasn't aware of what the real value was. It wasn't anything intentional. It was just coincidental at that point. So during the pandemic, I discovered and met people that were in that world and was like really fascinated by them, went out and met with them and, essentially recruited my own network opportunity with that, right? I met a guy named Rick Schwartz who goes by the Domain King. He was gracious enough to allow me to come to his house for an interview. And, he sold porno.com for $9 million and purchased it for $42,000.
Crazy.
Yeah, I met a guy named Frank Schilling, who ended up selling a group of us this extension .hip hop, right? So just the same way you have a .com or .net or .org or whatever, there's also .hip hop. And so we purchased that from Frank, and Frank is one of the most successful domain investors in the world. But these guys started in the 90s, man. Like, they had foresight, they had vision, and they were picking up dictionary words. And now, some of these words are selling for ridiculous amounts of money. Homes.com sold for $153 million. Cars.com sold for hundreds of millions. Voice.com sold for $30 million. But that's at the highest level of the game. But
Mhm.
everyday words and combination of words are so day in, day out. And then there's also a mad influx of names that expire for whatever reason. People go out of business. People don't renew them. So that also creates another wave of opportunities.
And when you're thinking about like the pool of opportunities within the domain space, how do you're saying some of like more so on the higher end sales that people make, but how do you even go about scouting certain domains? Like, how would one even come into the market and be like, yo, what is there to buy? Because you can literally input, I guess, anything, right? But I guess naturally I would kind of see like, huh, are you is there a market to kind of foresee, or is it more so networking and trying to be aware of the wants and the interests of people around you, and kind of trying to maybe be there already to provide, like,
For
I see
sure.
this might be useful to you. Like, how do you go about playing?
It's the same. It's very similar to like any other asset class. Historical data um, is very important. But with domains are very unique because each one is unique. There's no such thing as a carbon copy of another domain name. If I own
Mhm.
early.com, I'm the only person that owns early.com, right? And so you guys having a show named Early will potentially be a prospect for that, right? So
Right.
if I'm an investor who owns that name, as long as I'm not violating your intellectual property or your trademarks or your IP, your intellectual property,
Yeah.
then you and any other party, I can reach out to you guys. You guys might discover me on certain marketplaces. One of them being GoDaddy. There's several others. There's a marketplace called Dan.com. There's Cedo. There's Squad Help, which now goes by Adam.com. There's so many of them. But the point is, these are assets. And, there's a science and an art to it. I always tell people the value of a domain is very subjective, but it's in the eye of the end user. So there are people that speculate on them, like myself. I currently have about 3,000 domain names. Um, and there are people that, need just one of them. And there are also people in between that go, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll buy that from you with the expectation that I can flip it. We call it digital real estate because it's very similar to physical real estate, but it's not
Mm.
physical. You know what I mean? And the only cost of ownership
Yeah.
we are the renewal fees. So with a .com, that's about $10 a year. It doesn't matter if the domain is worth 100 million or $10. It's a flat renewal fee. So personally, I prefer to physical real estate because I don't have to deal with a tenant. I don't have to deal with property taxes. My cost of holding that asset is much cheaper.
So,
I'm
but
able to diversify.
is it fair to say when you're buying it, then, like, I heard you say earlier, you're saying it's about damn near every day that you're making money off these domains. So would you say it's because you've been accumulating these names over a period of years? So sometimes you look in and you're seeing offers for domains where you're like, oh, like, I forgot I had purchased that domain. Or was it more so you like time in the
Like, gotta
market,
shop them. Oh,
like
yeah.
over time, right? You're just buying domains and you're like, oh, I bought that in 2021. I forgot I had that, but here's this offer sitting for it.
Mm.
Or is it more so of a trying to see what's popular? Like, boom, last year Chat GPT dropped, so now it's an AI boom. So now are you trying to quickly buy AI type websites and try to like catch the market? So I'm trying to see, like, how do you like that time on return in terms of when you buy it? Like, how quick is
Oh,
that?
like,
How soon is that?
how long do you gotta hold it before
Exact,
That's a
before
great
the
question.
value appreciates?
right.
Great question. It's a combination of all those things. There are names that are relevant because there's a ongoing trend, right? Like you mentioned, AI. Matter of fact, the .ai extension, which we call that at CLD. What's to the right of the dot? So .com is at CLD, which stands for
Okay.
top level domain. There are about 1,600 of those, right? You also have country codes like CCTLDs, like Ethiopia will be .et, the US is .us, the UK is .uk, South Africa is .sa, Mexico is .mx. There's a tiny island, Caribbean island called Anguilla Island, and very lightly populated. Because of the AI boom, .ai names became very hot commodities, right? And now the money they're generating from, being the rights holders to that extension, which really stands for Anguilla Island, right? Is now 10% of their GDP.
Wow.
Because people went out and just started speculating on all these .ai names. Then also, there are names that are just grails, like hotel.com, hospital.com.
Yeah. Cars.com, like you said.
Cars.com. Like these are names that, give you that category killer edge in any business, right? Credibility online. We're witnessing commercial real estate in the dumps right now. And I speculate and I would say that domains have a lot to do with that, because who needs an office when everything is online, right?
You just need a website for real.
You see what I'm saying? So businesses are now realizing, well, you know what? If we own the domain, maybe we can cut back on some of these traditional costs, because we're going to get more visibility. We're going to get more credibility. We're going to rank better from domains. I always tell people the money is in the purchase. When you acquire that name, it's yours, at least till you lose it, right? Until you don't pay your renewal. If you don't pay your property taxes on physical real estate, what happens? It gets foreclosed, right? Very similar. But, the utility of a domain has always been to build a website, right? The other functionalities or utilities being added, we can dive into that later, but the core use case of a domain name is to build a website, right? And so as an investor, if I have a domain name that gives me an edge, I can leverage it for affiliate marketing. You see where this is going?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I can leverage it for content marketing. I can create a blog and make money from Google AdSense because I'm getting traffic, because people like the name. So I do own a bunch of names that
some domains you actually take action on. You actually develop on them.
Yeah. I mean, I always tell every domain investor, sell yourself some of your good names and build a business with it. Because the name is just the land. Back to the real estate reference, the name is just the land. And if you own land, you could decide to fence it, or you could decide to put up a skyscraper on it.
Yeah.
Or you could put up a fence and say for sale, right? Or you could wait for someone to come over and be like, "Hey, is this land for sale?" It's a very interesting asset class, because people are not aware of the value of domain names. A lot of people, ran businesses and still have domain names, and maybe the business didn't work out the way they expected, or maybe they pivoted into something else. You know how life goes. Maybe something else happened, and they just let go of the name, when that could have been something you potentially could have sold for a couple of $1,000s, depending on the name, So that's the long and short of it. Domains are very valuable assets, and when you intentionally invest in any asset class, you need to know what you're doing. You need to have your own strategies. You need to learn from your mistakes. You need to attend. You need to get educated. There's a learning curve, and I've just been improving at domains to an extent where now I launched a domain conference called Domain Expo. We had the inaugural conference in December in Las Vegas. We had about 150 people there. And
how many years have you been having this?
Can you repeat that?
How many years is this like?
It was just the inaugural one. It was the first one in December.
First one. Okay.
Yeah, so that was beautiful for me to put together, in my opinion, because I wanted to create a comfortable place for people that were veterans and newbies to get together. And even there's a new realm in domaining, which are blockchain domain names, right? The .eth, .bcc, .sol, that don't fall under the umbrella of legacy.
How do you feel about those, though? How do you feel about those? Because I know you definitely hold a lot of spaces to have these types of conversations in terms of like
Right.
how you feel about uh, those those types of domains. And I know you've been very critical of like, you know, ENS and them, but at the same time, you still like keep some in your portfolio. Like what is it that you're hoping to see from those type of protocols, just to have them because of crypto's the boom, or do you see people have a use case for them? Because still, as of yet, I'm still just seeing it as something you use to send from wallet to wallet.
Absolutely. That's the core purpose. It's you know, there are over 200 million Ethereum wallet addresses, and anyone who's ever sent crypto knows that it's almost impossible, if not impossible, to remember those wallet addresses, right? They're not like phone numbers. You're talking about
Yeah.
like 42 non-human readable addresses, right? You know, cryptography at its finest, right? So an Ethereum wallet address could be OX59.
Yeah. Letters, numbers. Okay.
Exactly. So
It's
it's
like
like a
25
long string
characters.
of, yeah, you know, numbers and letters. And, you know, the use case of those domain names is to shorten those into human readable addresses. So if I own early.eth, right, that could also be used not just as a wallet address, but I can create a decentralized website and host it on IPFS. Not to get too technical.
Are people doing that? Are people developing websites on the
Yeah, some
.eth?
people are doing that. Some people are doing that. There are
Okay.
platforms like WebHash that enable that. And not
Okay.
to get too technical, the basic use case, and they also resolve in certain browsers like, you know, like Brave, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
so there's an emerging industry there, and I feel like they're like an outlier from the conventional legacy domain names, and I've embraced that industry. I feel like was super early with that.
Right.
You know, with .eth, which is you can argue is the leading protocol. Um, there's some room for improvement, right? With the way it's been administered, right? There should be more education, more marketing. So that's what you hear me talking about. I host a weekly Twitter space. It's called The Future of Domain Names. It's the biggest Twitter spaces that talks about domains every Saturday. We host it every Saturday on Twitter or X, excuse me. I still call it Twitter.
Yeah, it's hard to get
Facts.
used
Always
to.
on
No,
It's hard to
Twitter.
get used
facts.
to.
I switched it
It
up.
was, it was,
Yeah.
I mean, it was Twitter for like 15 years and
Yeah.
Yeah,
X
yeah,
for like
yeah.
6 months. So
X just sounds so generic, but yeah. And so what's happening now is there's a bridge where every regular domain name, every .com, every .net, every .org, any regular website, any regular domain name can now be used as a wallet address, right? So that's possible as of today, but the awareness is very low. And you know, at the same time, with the .eth names as an investment, it's still very speculative because it's really new. But there have been some amazing sales. Like people have done very well with those. Clearly, there's room for improvement. You know, we were in a crypto bear market recently, so hopefully that picks up. Um, but you know, people use those as their digital identity, right? You know, Brook.eth is a flex. That's you know, I can go there and look at your NFTs or whatever you want to share publicly. Google now picks that up. If you put in a .eth address,
Yeah.
Google will show you the wallet balance. You know what I mean? So the utility
Right.
of using it to send money from point A to point B is very critical because there are cases where people have sent money to the wrong addresses, or there are cases where people have you know, had things compromised because they thought they were sending it to the right address, and you know, there's wallet poisoning. I don't want to dive into that, but
Right.
you know, there's so many different blockchains. There's Solana, there's Bitcoin. Obviously, Michael Saylor just said he's going to launch a digital naming service,
You
a
know,
decentralized naming service. There's you know .soul. So people love different blockchains, and you know that creates opportunity to have a good name, a brandable name as your wallet address.
yeah, it sounds to me like um when I think about this, it sounds a lot like venture capital in the sense that and tell me if I'm wrong or if like this isn't an accurate comparison, but you got to kind of have like a big portfolio and then hope that, maybe not hope, but like have a big portfolio so that a couple of those names in the portfolio like really do a lot of the legwork. Is that accurate? Or
yeah, it's called the sell-through rate, right? So the typical domain investor has a 1% sell-through rate, but at a 1% sell-through rate, they manage to be very successful.
Like that one joint, well, like the dude that sold cars.com for 30 million, like he is not that'll take care of everything else. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can
so
retire
the quality of your portfolio matters. You're right. It's very similar to being a VC because you're managing your own portfolio. You're acquiring assets. You're in charge of creating visibility for them. You decide the pricing. There's really no accurate estimation tools out there. You have to do the research and find comparable sales. You really got to be tapped into to make a success out of it. And so, we've been when I say we, I launched with a couple of partners something called the Digital Real Estate Academy, dreacademy.com or dre.academy, same website, where we have a done for you domain investing program. So for people that want to leverage our experience and our expertise and be part of a community where they can, sort of like have someone holding their hands through the learning curve, we have a done for you program. So, for $500, we'll get you 3 names. We'll handpick the names. We'll help you list them for sale, typically for about $2,000. And then it becomes a waiting game. Now, we don't assure that you're going to sell all names, but, you sell one of those, you get an ROI that's pretty decent. And we have different packages. We have a 50-name package that includes, for $5,000. So you're getting 50 domain names, handpicked by a team of experts, listed in all the marketplaces. And when they sell, the money's yours. So I think that's something that a lot of people have used as a way to get into the business. And we've had some good success stories. But domaining is a patient sport. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Some people have had domains for 30 years before they sold them. Like AI.com recently sold for about $11 million. But they've had it for 30 years, right? So, but think about it, like they hand registered that name, maybe, I don't know, $20. Let's even say $100. For 30 years, they kept it for $10 a year.
Hey, I'm about to say you got to keep re-registering that joint too.
Yeah, that's another $300. So let's just say all in it, they're in it for $500 and they're selling for $11 million. What other asset class has that type of ROI?
But and like you said, where it's similar to real estate is you got to like hold it. You got to let it mature. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
'Cause say that person would have sold that joint before the AI boom. I don't know what it was worth, like let's say 10 years ago,
less, of course.
But probably not what it was worth today.
Yeah, someone sold Saudi GPT for $78,000, and he registered it a couple of weeks before that for $10. I've had names that.
So that's one of those rare like quick flips.
It happens. It happens quite often, especially what you're doing. If you study your craft and you keep track of all the trends, you realize that you can position yourself in a way where you can make a lot of money. Like my happy spot is I buy a lot of names that are expired, sometimes as low as $5, right? And I'll sell them for $3,000, $4,000 consistently. Now I'm not saying every name that I buy sells immediately, but sometimes, especially if you do some outbounding and some marketing, you could find a potential buyer for a name. I buy a lot of legal terms.
What's the most you're willing to spend for a name, though? Right? Because like you say, sometimes you're spending the $5, but I assume that sometimes there are others that maybe cost, what I'm saying, significantly more than that.
But still might be underpriced to you.
Right. So like, what is it to you? Is it, and it's like, for instance, like you might buy a domain, maybe then let me know, like for $2,000, and you're willing to sit on it. Why are you spending that type of money on that domain?
No, for sure. Like I have names that I spend a couple of $1,000s for. I have names that I spent over 50 grand for. Um, there's a deal that I'm working on right now where we're gonna acquire a name for at least 7 figures and
Yeah.
flip it, right? So I've reached that level in the game, but I at the same time I'm still seeing opportunity with the basic $5 names because every
Right.
name is unique, right? The other day I picked up offsetyrn.com. Why did I pick up that name? I mean,
Offset.
because I'm aware of the culture. If you look
Yeah.
at Offset's social media, that's what he uses, right? And what if he gets kicked off social media? What if it's happened to Bootsy and a couple other people? So your expertise, having just a general wealth of knowledge in different industries, is your advantage. Understanding what words mean in different languages could be an advantage. Keeping track of trends could be an advantage. It's an art and a science. Um, I I pick up names that I feel like there's a possibility to sell them, and some people pick up names where they feel like, oh, some company's going to use this name as a as their brand. They're
Right.
brandables, like names that really don't mean nothing but sound good, like
Mhm.
Google, Facebook, right? Those are very difficult to outbound. But one of the names that I sold was lemonlawlawyer.com.
What
I
was
picked
it? Lemon,
Lemon Law Lawyer. Yeah, tongue
lemon law.
twister, right? But the lemon law is when you buy a car from a manufacturer and the car is defective. It's called a lemon, and different states have this thing called the lemon law, where if the car is defective, you can literally get a new car, from my understanding, or you could sue them, right? Because they sold you a lemon. So
Mhm.
it's called the lemon law. Now, just because I'm aware of that, when I saw that term at the domain auction, and there's a domain auction every day, 24/7, 7 days a week, excuse me. I saw that term and I was bidding on it, and I was able to pick that name up for $1,300, and I ended up selling the name a month later for 15 grand without having to do anything. All I had to do was just list the name for sale. Somebody else picked up the name, and now they have a website on it. Um, I've sold names for 6 figures consistently, right? And I've sold names, like I said, the soft spot is like 8 grand. I put up a tweet yesterday, Brooke, you can look it up, of my sales in April, from domains. I had 8 sales for 82 grand. So it was a great month. That's
Yeah.
not typical. I'm not saying, domaining is something where you make all this money, but it could be very, very profitable once you have momentum. And you know what you're doing.
Mhm.
You know, Speaking of profits, and earlier on, we were talking about crypto, and you having a community. When it comes to domains, you also do have several communities too when it comes to like the crypto side of things, right? And
Sure.
one thing that I'm telling a lot of people that are not necessarily familiar with crypto, or even feel as if like they have enough money to invest, right? We always say, well, you can always participate to actually earn, right? It actually benefits you to just be present in the space. And
For
I
sure.
know that made a Telegram dedicated to like airdrops and
Word.
helping people farm these different types of airdrops, and helping people literally, even if they don't have too much money to spend, how they can go about earning crypto, and seeing like how easy it is to actually just get some exposure to the market. So can you talk about like how you started that airdrop community and why you decided to do that, what you're like currently doing within the crypto space now? Because how the memes then came in and all of this cycle, and now we're like, damn, it's like deja vu again type shit. It's like there's
Word.
so many different like lanes to play the crypto market. So like speak on the airdrops though, first off.
Yeah, yeah. So, again, I've been in crypto since 2017, and some of the most amazing moments were just claiming airdrops. I think the last time I came on the show, I had 4 board apes. Um,
Right, right. You
yeah,
sold them, right? You no longer board it. No
I sold,
longer board it.
I sold them. I sold them.
Yeah.
Should have sold them earlier.
Not a bad move at all, though.
Right.
But
yeah, but
we would say it's reached its height, right?
Yeah. What did you say? I'm sorry.
I'm saying, like, you could say at this point it's reached its height already. Like,
I wouldn't.
I don't know where Bored Ape is at right now, but I
Some
remember
people-
like a year ago, like 2 years ago, around that like bull, like that first bull when the all-time high for Bitcoin was like 60K. What was that, like 2 years ago?
Right.
I feel like that was its height, or did it have another height after that?
It was
I'm
definitely
asking both of y'all.
It was definitely like towards like the 6 figures for sure. But you know what's funny enough is ironic you say that, because a lot of talk, and I'm definitely curious to know what you think about this too, Ish. A lot of talk now is that the Bored Apes have kind of reached their floor, have almost bottomed out. Like you can get a Bored Ape for now and this is still not like a cheap amount, but compared to what it was,
of course,
about like what 10 ETH, 11 ETH.
They're like 16 ETH right now. They went back up.
16 ETH. So it's
Yeah.
like
16 ETH.
16 ETH as opposed to like 100 plus ETH.
Yeah,
that these were selling for.
motherfuckers were saying you could like buy a house with a Bored Ape before, but
right,
you know what I'm
it's
saying?
crazy.
Back
Yeah,
in
you
the
could,
day.
of course. You could buy a couple of houses in some parts of the country with one Bored Ape. You know, just so I don't feel like Bored Apes are dead. They're still very expensive. There's just, let's just say there's been a price correction. The sentiment's obviously low when the price goes down, but you know, like anything else, like it could depending on what the community does or what the Yuga Labs team does, I could see it going back to all-time highs. You know, they're rare assets cemented in crypto history, and there are people that, even though they talk bad about it, would love to own one. You know, when I bought my Bored Apes, so it's 12 grand, went all the way over $500,000 each. But in that journey, we received a bunch of perks, a bunch of airdrops. One of those airdrops was a mutant ape, and some of those mutant apes, you know, at one point the floor price of a mutant ape was 150. So we received a free NFT for having an NFT, right? We also received free land in the other side, the other deed.
Even for the people that even got it from Mint, right? It's like, well, if it's still worth $16,000 today, how much are you up on your
appreciation is? Yeah, exactly. People picked them up for $150.
Yeah.
It's still at.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's dead at all at all. What I'm saying is, like, I'm asking if you had sold it when it was relatively at its height, so you got the maximum value.
Yeah, but the point is, you know, we were talking about airdrops, and that's when I sort of like learned about airdrops was, oh wow, I can get rewarded for having certain assets, or I can get rewarded for being part of certain communities. And it wasn't only just Bored Apes, like there was Clone X. You know, we received, we received a bunch of all the digital assets. And then even with circle back to the domains briefly, with the .eth names, there was a time where they gave us ENS tokens.
Yeah,
that was a good day.
Yeah, and those went up to like $80-something each, and it was like a free couple of thousands of dollars, right? But when the ApeCoin, came out, that was another airdrop where if you had the Bored Apes or you had a Bored Ape or a mutant ape, you could claim the ape coins. You know, that ran up to like $27. At one point, I had about $600,000 in free money because I had Bored Apes, right? And so I've always been aware of the idea of airdrops, and you know, leveraging my domain experience, I was able to acquire some great airdrop related names like airdropfarmers.com, airdrophunters.com. And so I decided to start a community, and Brooke has been playing a very crucial role in that community, where we curate these airdrops and we walk people through how to optimize them, right? And so now we're farming different airdrops. And I always tell people, you know, crypto is so unique. It's such a huge transfer of wealth that people get it fucked up. A lot of people think that you have to go out there and buy one Bitcoin. We all know here that that's not the case. You can buy $100 worth of Bitcoin. You can buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. You don't have to have a whole Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But you don't even have to, you know, to get the most gains. I don't think Bitcoin is going to make you rich at this point.
And you know, but it's funny you even bring that up, right? Because I'm even talking to several people in my work, right? And like, there's still this understanding around Bitcoin where people like they're like,
they feel
wait,
priced out.
you can buy no, they're literally like, oh, you can buy a part of it. They're like, I thought you had to buy a Bitcoin, so they're like, I didn't pay any. I don't.
How many Bitcoins you got?
Right, like they don't like. I don't really care about it because I can't buy it. So,
Oh,
but then it's like, oh, when you tell them, bro, you can.
It's like buying
you can buy $100.
It's like stocks. Like you can buy a portion of a stock.
It's so funny, like even that in itself, people are like, oh, okay. I was like,
but
yeah, they don't realize.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, they don't realize that. So, like I was saying, I don't think you can get rich right now investing in Bitcoin. If Bitcoin was to,
I'm actually glad you repeated that because I was going to ask you, like, not to say that I'm thinking you can get rich or anything like that off of it, but do you feel like it's still worth investing in? Like, I look at it as an investment the same way I look at like an index fund as an investment. Sure. Like, I'm gonna put money into, or I do put money into it every week.
Yeah, let me elaborate. Sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean to do that.
No, go ahead, please.
Bitcoin touched all-time highs of 73 grand, and as of today, Bitcoin is about 62 grand. You know, it might be 64, might be 60. I don't know. It fluctuates. It's very volatile. You know, it goes up and down. So if Bitcoin was to double where it is today, right? We're talking about $128,000, $140,000 of Bitcoin, right? Which would be a big deal. That would be uncharted territory. But, you know, Brooke will tell you there's so many other opportunities within crypto where a 2x is that's a nothing burger, right? That's like I expect to make a 2x, right? So Bitcoin is the stable. That's the grail, right? That's the ticket in my opinion.
That's like the blue chip stock. That's like the Tesla, the Amazon.
Right. It's kind of like
the Nvidia.
I view Bitcoin as kind of the digital gold in the way that it's
a US dollar.
The Bitcoin that I buy, I'm not looking to convert this back into anything. This Bitcoin will remain Bitcoin, and we'll see where it goes. If I'm trying to, what you're saying is like when we're talking about playing the market, you might look at something, even if you want to look at something more stable, like even though crypto overall is volatile, you're like, no, I don't want to fuck with meme coins. You might look at Solana, right? And be like, well, Solana could maybe potentially still go to 500, maybe $1,000. So now you're looking at that's looking like a 500%, maybe potentially 1,000%. Now, when we're talking about altcoins, now we're kind of going into coins that might have still, we're talking about $100 million market cap or maybe more. But now we're talking about cents. They're in a cents. And now we're thinking about, well, if the market now turns the other way, it's like, well, if these potential coins could go to $1 plus, now these are the 100Xs. Basically, I'll be thinking that the market provides a lot of people opportunities to add to their Bitcoin stack. Like you might not have, thousands of dollars to invest in Bitcoin and have for the future, but maybe you invest some of your money in these other different types of crypto asset classes that could potentially, even though you have more risk, could potentially pay you up that much more.
That's what I was going to say. Like that is where I feel like in the last like year and a half or so, I've really scaled back my risk taking when it comes to investing. So I'm wondering, I wish there was some kind of like index fund in crypto, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I can invest in a pool of meme coins or altcoins and stuff like that.
ETFs. That's what the ETFs are for. That's what the ETFs are for, right?
Yeah, I've heard of that. So like, okay, let's talk about the Bitcoin ETF. Is that like, what does that entail? I'm thinking like, I know what an ETF is and I know what Bitcoin is. So is it a bunch of Bitcoin or is it a bunch of cryptocurrencies in a fund? Like what is that?
To my understanding, it's solely Bitcoin. And now
so it's like investing in Bitcoin itself.
They incorporate Bitcoin in the pool of these other stocks. So the Bitcoin is treated like a stock, but
so you participate in the upside of Bitcoin, but you're not just investing in Bitcoin.
Exactly.
You don't hold the Bitcoin.
So I wish there was something like that for meme coins, because like I look at like y'all are in it. I have like been in and out of it over the last, like, let's say 3 years, right? So I remember I've come up on altcoins that I just kind of threw some money at and it 15x. You know what I'm saying? Like I've felt that before, but I've also felt I also know that I didn't know what I was
You
buying.
want to talk about 1,000x in one day? Shout out,
Say
Brooke.
that again.
Brooke told me to play. Boom, did 1,000x in one day.
Boom. Yeah, that shit was crazy, bro.
Say I didn't hear that. Say that again.
Brooke told me about a play that did 1,000x in one day, a meme coin called Boom.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I've heard about a couple of plays, especially over the last like month from Brooke. But it's like I'm not gonna go in there and have that. I'm not like, it's like, which one? How did you know which one? You know what I'm saying? Like that gamble is what I'm like. I don't want to play that gamble game no more.
I love what you said right there.
At this particular spot that I'm in right now. So I'm
I love what you said right there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me go back before we lose track. To eliminate risk in crypto, the best way, right? And it was going back to the point where I was saying Bitcoin can't make you rich. If Bitcoin was to go to 500,000, that's an 8x.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah, I understand.
Now, imagine being able to earn free crypto. Now, that's the real opportunity.
Right.
When you're able to earn free crypto because you have, one, the information, and two, you're helping out new protocols in their infancy. You know, when they're still in what we call testnet, like you're joining their community. What they do is they allocate a portion of their tokens for early adopters, for people that engage with their protocol. That's part of their marketing and growth plan, right? Same thing we talked about with the Bored Apes at the Ape Coins. You know what I mean?
That Grass protocol ends tomorrow too. The shit that I put, the AI protocol.
Right. There's something called DPIN right now, which is centralized physical infrastructure, where you can take your Wi-Fi and someone else can use it, right? I don't want to get too technical, but there's now this opportunity where people are making ridiculous money from airdrops. And the more intentional you are, the more you're going to make from that. So if you're able to make 6 figures from airdrops because you did a couple of tasks, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes playing a video game. Sometimes
so you're talking about like you got to be in the space and kind of earn as opposed to like trading your dollars for like gambles. So like trading your dollar, like literally putting 50 on black as opposed to just like
you eliminate that risk
environment and getting chips.
Bro, I'll tell you literally an example of something like literally an airdrop. They'll be like, go to this website. As soon as you go to the website, connect your wallet to the website. Go to the Twitter and retweet this tweet. Favorite the tweet as well. You come back and then you click to verify. Now it's you've linked your Twitter account to the site. Verified. Boom. You earn this many points.
Yeah.
More tasks. Tasks. Go into the Discord.
Get some more.
Join. Earn a roll. Go into the Telegram. Earn a roll. You keep. And this is the thing though. Sometimes people will do it. Leave. The tasks up like every several days. There's more tasks.
Okay.
Keep doing them. Keep doing them. Eventually, this protocol drops a coin. For doing this, you're getting a share of tokens for doing however active you're for doing it. And that's the easiest way for people to just be like, well, that's how you get a stack to like play with, where it's like, I didn't have to put anything of my own.
Yeah.
I'll
go ahead and take risks with this shit.
Yeah.
But the thing about that though, it can very well be easy, but it's crypto. It's like, and tell me how you feel about this as well. It's really a time game, as well as all the money that you invest.
In some cases, it's a time game. In some cases, it's an information game, right?
100%. But it's the reason why I'll say time though is because imagine the information that you can get within a 24-hour period. Imagine the time. Imagine what you can miss in a week, let alone not being in the space and just kind of like, I see a headline, I might tap in with a conversation every now and then, but every day you're like, bruh, this coin drop, new protocol, this protocol, they talking about this blockchain, these NFTs, all of this AVAX, not AVAX meme coins. You're like, yo, bro, what the hell? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, you're talking about now a multi-trillion-dollar industry with a lot of innovation. Probably the most innovative space in the world right now is crypto.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So the beautiful thing about these airdrops and our community airdrop hunters is we have a test group of about 35 people now. And we're in a Telegram, and I'm about to migrate them into a more structured environment. I think we're going to go with School, which is a platform that allows you to share content and still have that engagement. So what we do is we're airdrop hunters. We're hunting as a pack together. So Brooke might come in and drop some information and say, yo, check out this airdrop. I might come in and say, yo, check out this airdrop, right? And you know that we've done our research. These are airdrops that are worth going after. And we walk you through the steps to start generating, the points or the coins. Like there was a project called Jupiter, right?
Yep.
I'll give you an example. Jupiter is an exchange on Solana. And, I didn't even know about Jupiter. Well, I'm somewhat active on crypto Twitter. And I heard about everyone was talking about JUP airdrop. So, typically I'll just brush off shit like that because there's a lot of phishing links and a lot of scams. But I saw a friend of mine, Luke Balmer, was interviewing Nia, was the founder of Jupiter. So just off that alone, I was like, let me just follow this. So the link was jup.ag. This was a day before the airdrop. I went on there, I connected my wallet, and I was like, whatever, we'll see what happens. He said I was eligible. I was okay. It probably took me maybe 5 minutes, right? The next day, I had enough points, and I sold my coins for $3,200, right?
Damn.
Those coins today are worth about $7,000. That's number one.
Crazy.
Well, but it was free money. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, facts.
I had that seed investment that was given to me for free, right? Now, I read about a 17-year-old who made $1 million from the same airdrop. So I called a friend of mine who I know is big on Solana, and I was like, yo, did you make any money off this airdrop? He goes, oh, man, I'm big on Solana. He made zero because he didn't have the information.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
now,
absolutely.
Check this out. Also, this kid that made $1 million is 17 years old. So I dug in, and you could Google this. 17-year-old made $1 million from Jupe airdrop. It's on Google, right? What he did that was different was what Brooke was alluding to. He did all the steps. He engaged with all the features of the protocol. He exchanged money. He used their limit orders. He staked on it. He did everything that platform is capable of doing, not just connecting his wallet. And he earned $1 million. So you tell me, right? Is airdrop farming worth it? 1,000%. So that's what we're trying to do. I want to.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy you even talked about the Jupiter airdrop, because that was the literal airdrop that kind of made me be like, there was two airdrops on two different chains. That's how I knew. I was like, hold up. Crypto back? Like, is crypto back? Because look, bro, definitely one of my mistakes, definitely, you learn over time, but it's like, yo, never forget to DCA even when these markets are red. And the market could very well be red for a year, 2 years, 3 years even, right? But then the turning of the tide comes. I look into my wallet, right, in about December of 2023, couple months back. Mm-hmm. And I look at my Coinbase wallet just to, just looking like, what do I have?
I look at my shit every day.
Like
just to see what's going on.
Just what's going on. Like, I forgot I had Pepe, and the Pepe, that was like a little surge last year. Yeah. So I was like, what's going on? I had $800 in this coin called Optimum. Mm-hmm. I'm looking like, wait, is this a scam? Like, because I'm like, I don't even want to, like, where did this come from, bro? What is this? Checking, I'm like, no, it's a real coin, solid. I'm like, damn, is this like an airdrop? I don't know. I was like, withdrew it though, because I'm like, at this point,
I'll take the money's green.
I'm like, I'm not literally too tapped into the climate of the sentiment or crypto. Like, I'm like, oh, we're back in that mode. Like, they're sending money out, and then the Jupiter airdrop comes probably about a month after. Probably, I think it's like January or so. And they're telling people basically if you have swapped on the platform you have a claim. I didn't swap too crazy on Phantom, but I knew I swapped a little bit. I knew I swapped a little bit. I knew I told a couple people of mine about a play couple months back, you know, maybe buying Bonk or something like that. Didn't think nothing of it. So I go to the Solana wallet, try to claim, had $200. Nothing crazy, but I was like, oh, we getting free money again. This is on another blockchain. And I'm like, I'm not withdrawing this. I was like, I'm not withdrawing this. I'm like, yeah, we're about to play around. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, this shit just came in my lap again. And optimal.
There's so many.
And a month later, bro, the $800 I had withdrawn a month later, she was worth $2,400. I was like, oh, okay. I know what time to put it. And now I'm like, oh, I'm kind of too early, but kind of late. Like, yo, bro, this is already percolated.
Nah, it's facts.
No, so
but I do. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just feel like I wanted to mention this important point. You know, if you're looking to make money off airdrops, I believe that airdrops are one way that you can make six figures in the next 365 days. My goal is to put together a group of 50 people, and I haven't been as active as I should be on this. We currently have about 36 people. I just signed up one of my friends as a doctor the other day. And we have a community. It's called the Airdrop Hunters. You know, once you join, you go to airdrophunters.com. Once you join, you get access to the Telegram, and you can literally, regardless of your experience level, start getting that information. We curate these airdrops. We have, you know, Zoom calls periodically. We're due for one, by the way. And, you know, we just basically have a friendly atmosphere where people can, you know that, okay, you know what, I'm covered when it comes to airdrops, right? And, you know, we'll see how it goes after a year. It's a social experiment, but I'm pretty positive that, especially with Grass coming up and the next round of Jupiter and a bunch of other airdrops, you know, people are going to do very well. Just the other day, I claimed $4,200 from in April 20th from the arcade airdrop that I received a couple of months ago. For borrowing, using my NFTs as collateral for loans, you know? So the more involved you are in crypto, the more likely you earn these airdrops. There's a new one that came out the other day called Spectral. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, Brooke.
Yeah, I've heard of Spectral.
But it's for people that use a layer 2 called Base. There are going to be so many of them because it's a win-win. They want you to have this airdrop so that you have these tokens, so you use their platforms. And you know, sometimes people in the US aren't eligible for these airdrops, but for the most part,
you gotta use them VPNs. You gotta use them VPNs, and then you get right on through. Without it, you can't sign up for them at all.
Yeah, so you know, it's one of those things where if you operate as a lone wolf, you're not going to catch no kill. But if you're part of a pack of hunters, if you're in the airdrop hunters community, you know, then you just basically got to be, you know, checking once in a while. And then we also talk about meme coins in there, right? So it's not just airdrops. Like, I just want the people in that community to benefit from their network. You're part of our network once you're an airdrop hunter. And, you know, as long as you just do what we ask you to do, I'm pretty sure you do very well. It's just, it's still in its early phases. And, you know, some of the people we have in there are somewhat like, okay, what's going on? I'm getting overwhelmed, but we try to make sure everyone keeps up, you know? But it's very exciting what's going to happen with airdrops.
No, for sure.
Yeah, and I think kind of piggying back a little bit to what Brooke was saying as far as the crypto market going up and down. I think that's kind of the true testament. Not that anybody here isn't already aware, but for people that might be listening, that because I still feel like there's a little bit of the population that's still just like not sold on crypto being a real thing. And I think the fact that it has weathered a bunch of storms by this point shows that it's a real thing. Like think about how this, I kind of always compare it to the stock market because it's how like the comparison is how I can like understand it, I guess. Right. But it's literally the same thing. Like the stock market will have a a down market for months. You know what I'm saying? Could be a full year, could be a couple years. You know what I'm saying? And then it usually comes back stronger than ever.
Right.
And you know, with Bit hitting another all-time high like just a month and a half ago after being down for almost 2 years, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of solidifies. And then after that, now we have the altcoins now like kind of doing that in their, and you know what I'm saying, in their way too. So I feel like the shit is definitely like a real thing. But again, I guess I'm also like approaching it how I've always approached stocks, where I never really just pick a stock. I always buy like index funds, or I put money into index funds and kind of grow with the market. So I feel like Bitcoin is that safe thing that's like, okay, like this is, if I invest in this, I can grow with the market, if that makes sense.
Right. And like if you want, like Bitcoin probably is entering that category now where it's like, if you wanted to compare it to more of the traditional like it's more of a, it's the traditional investment in terms
no,
of
yeah, I feel, and it's like Ish was saying, like I feel you, where it's like you're not going to get wealthy off of just investing in it, but I feel like over time you will build wealth with it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a Apple even. You know what I'm saying? Like Apple's like what, $600 a share. You're not gonna like see crazy gains with it, but like over time, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna go up, not down. Exactly.
Generate like that. See, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I feel like, and that is probably the perspective. Like as long, if you're not spot trading or trading your shit on leverage or whatnot, Bitcoin is a generational play.
Yeah.
It's the thing that you're like, yo, my kids will have Bitcoin. They will be straight. This is something that, it isn't.
And what I will say,
return.
Is like, this conversation is kind of rejuvenating me in the sense, because like I said, like 3 years ago, me was like looking at little meme coins, looking at little altcoins, like which one, like, you know what I'm saying? Let me see what I can get off of this one. Now I'm like, okay, let me take about like 10-20% of my portfolio and start playing around again. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I kind of got away from that, and I got to get back into that.
Like, bro, it's so like, bro, I love that bone play, bro, because that was really the play this season where a lot of people just kind of no hesitation just went with the play, and that was a crazy day, bro. Like, a lot of
people that might not know what happened.
Like, so basically, it was a pre-sale. And the thing that's funny is, you know, Mac, you had said something interesting in the conversation where it's kind of like it was more so, it's like, where is it that you're going to even learn what it is that you have to invest in, or like what is the more safe investment, or what is the reliable thing? It's so crazy, because the way I even knew to throw some money towards this pre-sale, and a pre-sale in the crypto market is basically these random people, or if you don't know who it is, it's basically saying, yo, send SOL to this address and we'll send you a token allocation when we drop a token.
Yeah.
So to tell somebody that is on the outside looking at it, or maybe doesn't even to delve into much of crypto, is like, wait, you're telling me to
send you some money and then
just wait and see.
Like, I don't know what I'm buying. I'm just giving you some rent.
It sounds crazy, right? But if you're in crypto and familiar with crypto, you understand it's like, yeah,
that's how it works.
You know, this is how some particular things work. So, okay, let's go with it. I knew, I just happened to know the particular community that this person is a part of. And I was like, you know, I've been watching this community for several years in this crypto space. They've been around for a long time. So I feel comfortable just throwing a little amount, nothing crazy. And that shit continued to do thousands of percent in return.
Crazy.
The day that it dropped.
And
what happened was, a lot of people that were late on the pre-sale, I just told them to wait until the coin drops, and when it drops, just buy it as soon as it drops. The coin dropped, and this is one thing that's been really interesting about meme coins. A lot of plays happen in the middle of the fucking night. So when you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, You're buying into a green candle. It's been
Oh,
pumping.
oh,
You're
word.
like, what the fuck? It dropped at 2 in
As
the
if
morning.
it, as
Like,
in it's like it's too late at
it's-
that point.
it doesn't mean it's too late. It just means
A lot of the
people
juice
have
has
made
been
money from 2 to 6. From when you woke up, people have made a lot.
The juice
of
has
money.
been squeezed.
Yeah,
You might get a
exactly,
little
right?
bit of
Let me
pulp.
let me,
but
let me
like-
break it down.
Cool,
Brooke told me about Bohm. Said, yo, just put some money into this. I put in 5 Solana. 5 Solana was $600. I woke up the next morning and I wasn't in the pre-sale. I had to put in the contract address and
Right.
this is
Uh-huh.
I woke up the next day and I had 250 Solana, bro.
Crazy. Wait, from 5 Solana?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
We're talking about a coin that went to a $1.2 billion market cap
$1
in
market
24
cap.
hours.
and
So imagine
your
it became
inkling,
Imagine
your
it became
inkling was
like
what?
$20 million market cap and it went to
I
a
had no
billion. Your
idea.
money just went 50x.
Right. It literally did what the coin I was talking to people about, the dog with hat, right? And I was like,
Mhm.
that was the big meme
That
coin
went to
play.
4
Dog
billion.
with
Yeah,
hat
I've heard of
is
that.
trading about at like $3 right now. Fucking $200 in November. By February, it would have netted you 2 million,
Yeah.
250, and it went higher. So that
Mhm.
250 is even worth more. But I thought that the play of like the market like that and meme coins had kind of like passed. Boom kind of proved to be
It's
it's
not gone.
Exactly, right? And it's still leveled out, and it dropped a little bit over a month ago, and it hasn't went below $650 million market cap, and now it's about a like $850 million market cap. So it's kind of like that's the type of plays that be happening. And even though every day you might not get the $1 billion market cap, every day meme coins are dropping at literally you have to fund the liquidity pool. So maybe like $3,000, and $3,000 coins are running up to $1 million plus. Maybe not even $1 million,
I'll
but
tell you this:
100K market cap. That's literally fucking 30x. It's crazy, bro. It's like fucking, it is the biggest digital casino on earth, Phantom Wallet. It is the biggest digital casino.
there's a coin right now, and these coins are all based off the attention economy. There's a coin right now called Crody.
Yeah, the Drake coin.
Crody.
That shit went up to like 40 million.
It went to 40 million. It's back to about
25
19 million right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what I mean? I saw one yesterday called K Dot. And I was like, should I get in or should I not get in?
Just playing off the cultural shit.
Yeah, I mean, them joints do be like playing off the like whatever's happening in culture. Yeah, that's crazy. Let's switch gears a little bit before we get up out of here. The playoffs has been going on. I know y'all two big Lakers fans.
Yeah, man, it disappointed us, man.
Now we got a Lakerless playoffs. That's how I like it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I like it. I'm not gonna hold you. But I'm curious to know, like, actually, they're gonna name the MVP tonight.
Yeah,
but
they are.
Yeah, but I'm curious to know, like, me and Brooke kind of talked about it a little bit last week, but in that time, the playoffs have, some of these series have developed a lot more. I'm curious to know, like, where you guys stand right now as far as like who do y'all like as far as like taking it home at this point right now. Let's start with you, Ish.
The Lakers. I'm just kidding.
That's such a Laker ass answer too.
No, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I ain't even gonna hold you. Ever since we got eliminated, I haven't really watched anything.
Oh, okay, I hear that.
Real fan.
Like, but to say where I'm rooting for, as a Laker fan, it kind of sounds crazy, but I really think Boston got it this year. A lot of people are sleeping on Boston, but they've always made noise. They're the top seed in the East. And, they got a solid core. They've been together for a long time. Tatum and Brown are a dynamic duo. And I think, a lot of the teams on the West are kind of like, they've already had a successful run. You're talking about teams that never went anywhere. Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, so like they're happy to be here at this point.
You're saying
they're
it's
like
already a win.
They're playing with house money.
They've already had a successful season, right?
Yeah.
We're at the conference semifinals at this point. I think New York is in uncharted territory, right? But they got a good team too. You know what I mean? But as far as like who's going to come out of the West, it's a toss-up, man. I think Minnesota's looking real strong. Chances are they're going to run over Denver. They've been smashing them, which feels good to see as a Laker fan. Because
I would like to see that as a guy that this is gonna sound real haterish, but like I like No, I like when the underdog kind of takes over the overdog. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that
Yeah, I'm
Denver was
happy to
kind of
see Minnesota
favored.
smashing Denver. I ain't gonna lie, because I thought Denver was gonna have a smooth sailing, right? So
Yeah, exactly. I thought Denver was gonna kind of coast to the finals
the
and
finals,
then win the finals. You know what I'm saying? So like, I like that. Like, I like that there's a team that's kind of beating up on them.
Yeah.
Say that
So
again.
I think Minnesota's gonna go past Denver, and between Oklahoma and Dallas, that might end up going to 7. Because just because Oklahoma won yesterday doesn't mean that they got it.
Yeah,
you got to show improvement.
That's facts.
Doncic and Kyrie had a bad.
You can't count Kyrie like out.
And Luka,
Doncic got it. Yeah, about to say Doncic is he's a baller too. Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not saying that Oklahoma City doesn't have it. You know, obviously Shea is a beast, but like I don't know if they got that dude that's like a real like killer.
You never really get to see these teams on national TV.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's another issue.
But to your point about the Boston take, I don't know if they're being slept on so much as it's like y'all are always here. Y'all got to really show us that y'all can go the distance. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they're kind of always at this point. So it's like we expect y'all to be here when it's Eastern Conference Finals time, when it's finals time. Then you know what I'm saying? Like we're really looking at y'all to like do something.
This is how I feel.
But they've only been to the finals once, and they played Golden State. You know what that does.
Yeah, but what last year they went to? Did they go to the Eastern Conference Finals last year?
They went to the Eastern Conference Final last year, and
that's what I'm saying. So like, I feel like up until the Eastern Conference Finals, we're like,
but they came back from 3-0.
Get there.
But
they took it to a game.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Boston's not nice. I'm just saying like up until the finals, it's like we expect y'all to be here as much as y'all. As much, like you said, that core group, as much playoff and regular season success as y'all have had, we expect y'all to like get there, and then once you're there, then we're gonna start evaluating as far as like, are y'all better? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I feel like this year more than many of the previous years, there's gonna be less. It looks like it can be less parity. Like, look, Joel Embiid was injured. Knicks is an underdog team. They're a true team playing with house money off field. Like,
shit, so are the Pacers.
This is a good, huh?
Pacers.
I don't see the Pacers. I don't think the Pacers are gonna win that series. I think the Knicks are gonna go past. But regardless, it makes me be like, yo, the Celtics. You should really have a clear shot to the finals. You have the matchup no matter who comes out of that series. Like Cavs is easy work. They're gonna get easy. And Knicks could be an entertaining series,
but they're the better team.
They should win that. To your point, they've been here before. The Celtics know that anything short of a championship is a failure.
Is a failure.
That's why you got Porzingis and the Drew Holiday. So we're gonna see what it is, but with the West, it's kind of like this cool little story happening, right?
Yeah.
You see with the Wolves, and I actually think the Wolves probably could take it.
Go to the finals?
I think they could
win
it? I think they could very well take it. But
the whole thing?
I think they could.
I mean, why not?
Because
why not? You got the defensive player of the year, and you got a young, hungry dude who, like, you know, if the regular season was right now as opposed to 2 months ago, we could be talking about Ant for MVP. You know what I'm saying?
I think the key thing in the whole situation is really how well Cat plays complementary to Ant.
Yeah.
As long as they keep strapping how
and
they're
that
doing,
defense is fucking really stifling, dog.
Because the shit that they did to Nuggets, bro, last game was without Gobert.
Defense is stifling, and defense wins championships.
Best defensive games niggas done seen in years.
Yeah,
without the defensive player of the year,
it was insane.
I'm like, yo, you get.
They made Denver look like the Lakers should have smashed through them.
You know, that's what I'm saying. And what's funny, I was saying this to Brooke earlier, like when you look at that Lakers Nuggets series. Outside of a couple of plays, that series could still be going going Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit could have went to 7.
Out of close. See,
that's what I'm saying. Like the Lakers were up at halftime in almost all of those games. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like Denver kind of. So sorry, go ahead.
No. I was.
Would you say
with the Laker Denver game series? What happened was, it was mostly coaching, in my opinion, right? You know, the rotations were wrong. Just the timeout management was poor. They have a more experienced coach. They have a more experienced team, and you could play all you want, but they closed out games better. We blew a 20-point lead in game 1. We blew a 10-point lead in game 2. A 15-point lead in game 2. We blew. We had them. We just weren't able to close, and that typically that's a reflection of poor coaching, right?
No, that's facts. You're absolutely right about that.
He got fired.
You're absolutely right about that.
He got fired.
Real quick, because that's kind of a conversation, you know what I'm saying, out there. Do y'all feel like the firing was warranted, or like
it's the Lakers, man?
I put it like this, man. They could get rid of him. I wasn't too fond of him. I didn't really, care for like his coaching style, what seemed to be his coaching style. But I will say, don't think that just because y'all got rid of him that y'all think that's solved.
That's a solve. Yeah, like you get somebody else in there.
The real problem is the roster.
I was going to say, like,
put it all on his. Let's not put it on him. Like
the writing was on the wall. As soon as AD was like, "We don't know what we're doing out there," I was like, "Oh, this nigga's gone." Right. I was like,
"He was talking about the coach." He was talking about the coach.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Look,
I was like, okay, like
I don't think
AD being gone. I was like, Darvin Ham's going to be gone.
Right.
I think we have a decent roster. I think if they keep that,
we need a real third option, bro. D'Angelo's not that third, bro. We don't
D'Angelo's
have
not.
We need a real third,
but he's a beast. I would like to.
Bro, this is the thing, though, bro.
I don't know about.
If you're not a beast,
D'Angelo got the Lakers 3
you're not a beast in the playoffs, my boy. You can kick rocks. It don't matter. It don't matter.
But see,
bro, he's shooting threes after the game.
Yeah,
why
but
are you in the game? Why are you shooting? Yo, I think
nigga broke the record for threes in the Lakers playoffs game.
This is how you earn your stripes.
It scored 0 in the next game.
Zero. This is how you earn your stripes in the NBA. That's not called playoff experience. You know what I mean? So the issue with the Lakers is we usually just like, bro, like we won the chip and let everyone go. We lost the Twin Towers. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like we fucked up. Like we have. Our GM is suspect. Our coaching has been suspect. And when you look at Darvin Ham's, his tenure, it was subpar. Like we have to get in with play-ins both years. So that's consistently fucking up, bro. Like that's fact. You have a whole season to prove yourself as a coach. So if you're coming in 8th in the league for the Lakers franchise, that's unacceptable, bro. We're not talking about the Clippers.
In the tough ass West. I don't know, bro. Like, look, the West was stacked this year.
It's the Lakers, man.
The West was stacked this year, dog.
I don't give a fuck if it's double packed. We are the Los Angeles Lakers.
I don't care if it's 16 teams on the West. Or no, I don't care if it's 30 teams on the West.
No, we're not the Clippers, bro. We're the Lakers.
Yeah.
That's facts. I feel that. I feel that, but again, like to your point about the roster, you got you got one aging superstar, you got another superstar, and then like a bunch of role players. Whereas every other team in the West had a bunch of young budding stars, a bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? Like OKC got like 3 or 4 young budding stars. Minnesota got 3 or 4 young stars. You know what I'm saying?
It's a league of youngsters right now. Austin Reeves is a dog. Hachimura is a decent.
You want to talk about somebody disappearing in the playoffs? Austin Reeves was nowhere to be found.
No, he played pretty decent.
He played. I don't know, man.
It was regular.
When the coaches, when the offense is going through LeBron, you limit all the guys. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's just be real, right? So, I mean, you saw during the season there was a game where we played Golden State and LeBron didn't play, and we smashed him by 20, right? So
Golden State didn't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is,
and that's what I'm saying. And that goes back to my point about how stacked the West was this year.
It's a change
Golden State, for sure, Sacramento, these motherfuckers did not make the playoffs.
Yeah, and there's a good.
It's tough. So like,
Sacramento swept the Lakers too. I just think we need a true center and a backup true center. Because AD's
he's really a 4. Yeah, and he's been playing.
And he's playing 5. You know what I mean? And it takes a lot out of him because he's a defensive nightmare for all the guys, for all the teams. But we need AD at the 4, rotating to the 5 at times. But when we had Dwight Howard and McGee, AD was killing it, right? He could step outside and hit those threes when needed. He was like he outmatched most of the other 4s, a big 4. You know what I mean? But we need a skilled center. Imagine if the Lakers had someone the caliber of Embiid as a center.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, you can't have AD and
that'd
Embiid
be
and
amazing.
LeBron James. Like, let's be real. Like, let's
be a
be
nice-
real.
nice
We're the
world.
Lakers, remember that.
He said we can have whatever we
We
want.
can have it all.
I'm
Nah,
weak.
that's-
All right, man.
We got
I
17
hear that.
chips.
That's spoken like a real. That's spoken like a real
Laker
Laker fan right
yes,
there.
sir.
But I
Yes,
hear
sir.
that. I hear that. But hey, Ish, man, it was a pleasure talking with you, bro. Appreciate you
bro.
coming
for
on.
coming through yet again, man. For real.
Appreciate you guys for having me, man. I had fun.
All right,
course,
man. Take it easy.
Till next time.
Bet.
Early.